From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer and let's get after it. As always, Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brew, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. Today we are luckily getting to still talk about the Stanley Cup Finals.
Right.
We've got an NBA
We were
champion.
Dead set that wasn't going to happen, right?
Yeah. But how are you this week, bud?
I am doing all right, man. Like you said, it's always great to continue to get more playoff sports. We're done with basketball, but get more hockey, and man, it's been exciting. I don't know if you watched this last game. We'll definitely talk about it, but it was mighty exciting, my friend. So exactly what we've been needing. Not that all of these games haven't been fairly exciting, but these last two have definitely changed the game a little bit. So, but I've been doing all right, man. Been pretty hot, as we'll talk about. But how about you? How you been doing, bub?
Good, man. Today, the day of recording, was the last day before the dead period for high school football. So I finally get my 2 weeks of my summer break. Get to finally get some stuff around the house. Done. Get cram all my doctor's appointments in. But it's good to just be off for a little bit. Glad we still got some hockey to watch.
Absolutely.
Let's jump right into the news because we got some stuff to talk about. And then we're gonna spend a good bit of time talking, obviously, the NBA Finals, and then the Stanley Cups, or the Stanley Cup. But let's jump into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
All right, so with the Stanley Cup Finals here, we are going to talk a little bit about Connor McDavid. Who else but probably the best player in the league, clearly.
Yes.
Best player.
We can agree on that.
Make it kind of where, making a statement for maybe eventually being called the best player ever. We'll see. Who knows? That in hockey, that's a big mountain to climb. But when Gretzky got 47 points in the 1985 playoffs, he had a point on 48% of his team's goals. McDavid is currently at 52.5. That's a great number. I think there's
definitely a better way to compare it. Gretzky being in a higher scoring era, for sure, has a little bit into play, but it's definitely a good factor. We're going to talk more about like the points he scored this playoff series when we get to the Stanley Cup final update, but it's a very interesting, just even forgetting the record and what Gretzky did. Just saying, hey, 52.5 of the points that are scored, goals that are scored have involved this guy. So it's undeniable how high of an achievement that is in my mind, for sure. So just a cool little stat that I saw, and I know we'll talk more about the totals of his points when we actually talk about the Stanley Cup final, because he is getting close to that 47 for sure.
Yeah. So one thing I want to talk about before, because we're obviously going to talk about the actual matchup later. If no matter what happens tomorrow, I believe that's game 6. Do you believe that where we stand right now, Connor McDavid should win the Conn Smythe, even if Edmonton loses the game?
No.
Taking into account that the Conn Smythe isn't just for the final, like the final matchup, it's for the complete
it's the entire
finals.
Playoffs. Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to pull up the entire,
It's a tough sell. It's
it is
hard
a
to
tough
say
sell.
that he
Personally,
doesn't.
I stand on my principles that the Conn Smythe has to be from the winning team no matter what.
Yeah,
But
I would
man,
say
if there was ever a year and a player that makes me challenge that, it's this year and this guy.
I think you probably have the option of going with Bobrovsky if Florida wins. Would just be my thought process of it's hard to kind of judge those positions against one another. And they've had a pretty rough road with some great goal scorers, and he has done phenomenally. So I think that I can agree with you in the fact that it's got to go. The most valuable player in the playoffs has to be one of those two, though, right? I don't think that anybody else outside of those two can win it, but I don't fault anybody if McDavid gets it. But I'm with you. I think it needs to go to the winning team. So Florida wins. To me, I think it needs to go to Bobrovsky. Will it? No idea. But that's I don't know what kind of criteria they'll be looking for to give out this Conn Smythe. I think obviously if he wins it, if the Oilers win it, I mean, a foregone conclusion. Yeah. They've already actually got that version of the trophy made up. No, I'm with you. I think it needs to go to the winning team, and I think the only one that you could sell me has been more valuable to their team is Bob. Yeah, is Bobrovsky. Yeah, really living up to that contract, and he dropped a couple of these games, these past two. He let 8 go in, got pulled. But I mean, you're going to have a bad game. Connor McDavid didn't play well in the first 2 games either. So, I mean, it's not like you can go on a game by game basis. I think that would be the most logical answer that both sides will really win. That you don't have to give it to another skater that obviously didn't drop 40 plus points in these playoffs. But you also, no worries, he didn't beat the guy that he was going against, the one that he was competing against in my mind.
And you make a great point, and I agree that if Florida wins, I mean, you can't not give it to the guy that withstood an absolute onslaught from the highest, or I'm not going to say the most prolific scoring team in the league.
Well, and if you're just talking about Edmonton, the President's Cup trophy in the President's Cup, they beat the Lightning, a 2-time winner. They went through Boston, a team that has had a really good season. Then going through New York,
2 shutouts in the playoffs.
I think it was an easy option to just give it to Bobrovsky and not even feel bad about it. Right? He's had a really good playoffs, and if we want to talk about how magical McDavid is and how magical Leon Draisaitl is, then we have to concur that the goalie that beats them is also probably been pretty good throughout these playoffs. So he's definitely had his opportunities where he's standing on his head, making great plays. I think that's the biggest sell that I can make to you is that I think Bobrovsky, if Florida wins, is the obvious candidate. If you are a believer in the losing team can't have the Conn Smythe winner, which I agree with. I we don't usually land on the same runway there, Bob, but I'm with you on this one. I do think, because it's not valuable to have a bunch of points and not win. It's just not. Yeah. That's you got to be valuable at every round, every level, because who cares how many points you scored against? You scored against the the Kings or Vancouver or Dallas if you couldn't get it done also in Edmonton. So I would say it's a total award there.
Yeah. Also, real quick, I think it might have been from this. It was from this last game. That Matthew Tkachuk open or empty net save.
Oh, obviously, my gosh!
It got saved, but that was one of the coolest things I've seen in hockey in so long.
So
I saw him going down, and I was like, "No way he's getting it." And then he got it, and I thought for sure that the replay. I was like, I think that went in," and I was like, "No." I mean, that was chef's kiss.
That was beautiful. Yes, it was sad that it got put back in, but Kachuk was there. I mean, it was phenomenal. It was great situational awareness by Big David. He's right there waiting to bury it. So yes, that was this most recent game, and that was a nail biter all the way up to the end.
Yeah. All right, let's move into outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
All right, we have a NBA champion and a record-setting 18th championship for Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. Well, it's Tatum's first.
Right, yeah.
He would
Celtics. Like to think he celebrated in a way in which maybe you give him a couple more, but
but Tatum put up 31 points to lead the Celtics their 18th championship, beating the Mavs in 5. And just like we thought would happen, the Mavs put up a fight. Boston got to go win it at home. Jaylen Brown claimed the Bill Russell with MVP with 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists.
That one we did call right. We didn't get our hockey prediction correct, but yeah, winning it there at home, they were just I watched most of that game. It was hard to pay attention to. I'll tell you that. The Celtics dominated it from top to bottom. Little magic there in Game 4 from the Mavericks and got it done. Played a much better basketball game, and then it was back to their old previous few games the way they played, and just couldn't get it done, man. The Celtics were the better team. They were a better basketball team, top to bottom for sure.
And here's what I'll tell you that I think that a lot of people online seem to have an opposite opinion. Everyone thought that after that insane 38 or 34 point win, which is the largest win in NBA finals or playoffs history, they thought the Mavs were going to storm back. And you know what I said? I said, no. The fact that it was so big makes me think the Celtics took the night off and wanted to win it at home.
Yeah.
You don't get blown out that a professional team does not get blown out that much if they are actually trying to win the game. They thought the Mavs they phoned it in. That.
Well, and the Mavs have done that throughout the playoffs, where they would win big and then lose big, kind of following after. So it was not indicative to me either. I definitely did not think that we were going to go to 6. I thought that the Celtics, like you said, looked like they, whether or not they took the night off or not, definitely looked like they were a little bit more in cruise control. For sure. I'm definitely with you. But then coming back to Boston, they were absolutely top to bottom dominant. Just dominated that full game.
Besides Game 4, this entire series felt like I was watching the Globetrotters play the Generals. It was just
Luka couldn't get it going.
Like if you didn't look at the score, it was ugly.
Yeah, Luka just couldn't get it going a lot of the time. They had an answer for Kyrie. Al Horford still out there rocking it, cranking it, playing. Man. So it was pretty clear cut after the first couple games that the Celtics are the better basketball team, and the Mavericks don't really have an answer for them.
Yeah, the real winner though, I think of all this. And I'm so jealous of them. I'm jealous of them for that one night for those couple hours. But man, if you were a Mavs fan at Game 4 on an elimination game and you see that performance, you're leaving there. Those dopamine levels are high. You're having a great night.
For one night, your team has won the ship. You know what I'm saying? Like for one night, you're like, we just won the NBA championship, dude. We are obviously coming back. So those folks, if any of them like maybe got amnesia right after that, they probably went out with the greatest night of their life, dude.
Yeah. I have seen some talk after the words of I have to look up his contract, but I've seen some talk of Luka possibly, or maybe Denver's in the question that he might be out of Dallas, and that Denver could be a possible landing spot for Luka. Which, I mean, that's a pair. I mean, him and Jokic, that's a pairing I will love to see.
Yeah, I would be interested if that happened. I'm pretty sure they've locked him up for a good bit, so we will see. Obviously, that would be something to watch, like you're saying, man. Those two guys playing together, it would be hard to beat.
Yeah, I'm looking up. Let's see. When is it? It just tells me 6 years, but I can't see when he signed. It's through.
Yeah, but I mean, NBA contracts, they'll figure out how to get what they want out of that. So if it, it may just be clickbait, but I mean, depending on where it came from, it could be true. I mean, these guys do talk a lot, and work together on trying to get to the teams that they want.
I was listening to it was Scott Van Pelt. I was one of his sources. He was talking about on a post game stuff. So I mean, not ESPN. I mean, just it's just rumors flying around.
Right? Exactly.
Who knows?
Yeah,
about as trustworthy as us, I guess. Probably the same sources that we have.
Right. Yeah, very, very close. Like basically, like I was playing Ultimate. I was playing my team, and I paired these guys, and it worked, bro. It worked really well.
Yeah. Lakers hired JJ Redick on a 4-year contract. Let's see. Agreed to 4-year contract with Jay Redick to make him the franchise next head coach. He's been an ESPN analyst, played for 15, and
doing a podcast with LeBron.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They have been. We do have some late breaking NBA news. Josh Giddey from the Thunder been traded to the Bulls for Alex Caruso, the two-time all defensive guard. So little movement
Chicago
from
parents. Keep your kids safe.
I'm telling you, he's like, I'm going to take the L train down to the elementary school. So this is perfect.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So, what are your thoughts on the JJ Redick hiring?
I don't know. I mean, if it's true they went to Dan Hurley first and he declined them,
they did.
Then I mean, I think it's an okay hire. It's a new coach, the fact that LeBron is trying to pretend like he's not involved with it is what is funny. Obviously you're involved in it and nobody expects you not to be. I heard somebody say, I don't know. I heard somebody say he's the same. He's going to be able to do the same things that the coach you had previously was there. I mean, at what certain point are any of these guys, so few change the course and the outcome of this, and maybe Redick is one of those guys, and can be that next type of Eric Spoelstra type coach. That is young and is got new ideas, a Steve Kerr coming in type of deal. But we'll see. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I don't really care about the Lakers. So, good or bad, I'm going to hold my judgment. I don't think it was like a bad hire by any means. I mean, it's not like they went out and got some superstar coach that they know is going to take them over the edge. They went out and got another guy that hadn't coached before. But you know how we feel here, giving folks a chance, give them a chance to, spread their wings and fly or fail. I think JJ Redick has definitely earned an opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if we've talked about it yet. I think this news released when we were off for a week. But an end of an era, NBA on TNT is ending.
Yes.
So, and Charles Barkley has announced his retirement. Once that, I think they are doing next season, and that's it. If I read correctly,
that's what he said.
I don't even know if it is happening.
The word on, I think that the group is going to start a production company, and then offer themselves to whatever network gets the contract. I've heard talks about that we're probably, hopefully not losing that next season. But yes, definitely an end of an era. We have not talked about it. I totally, that's something you want to put out of your mind, Bobby, because even though I'm not a big NBA regular season guy, we are big sports guys, and there's little to no question on my mind. It was the best sports show pregame show in the business. There's none better.
They should do every
what those
sport.
guys do. Yeah,
every single sport,
and every single sport that they get pulled into, when it's college basketball or whatever, that group of guys makes it more fun. They make it more like sports should be. We're here to have fun, dude. We're here to joke around. We're here to make funny jokes. And we're here to mess with each other as much as we mess with everybody else. We can take a joke, we can give a joke. And so, yes, definitely a sad thing to see. But hey, Chuck Barkley deserves whatever he wants. So if he wants to retire, then I will not fight that man. I will support him in all his endeavors.
They need to do a retirement tour where they do at least one game of every single sport. First off, they should do the entire Olympics.
Yeah,
we don't
everything
need Bob Costas. We need them doing Olympics.
Them doing the Olympics, everything except for Scott Hansen's the Gold Zone, which is going to be the Red Zone-esque style channel that NBC's doing for the Olympics. Yeah, you didn't hear about this? We've talked about it.
No,
I don't know. Does it matter if it's free, Bobby? I don't know. I'm gonna pay for it if it's not.
Where do I need to give my money to get this?
I don't know. I'm sure it's just part of like whatever you have NBC. I'm sure it's just gonna be like a channel or something, Bubba. But look up more on it. But it's supposed to be happening. Olympics don't start until July 26th, though. So we got a bit.
So we got time.
Yes, we've got plenty of time. But that will give us plenty of summer content. Maybe
on
we'll
Peacock.
do a.
Scott Hansen, Andrew Siciliano, Matt Eisman, Akbar Gabahimiala.
Yeah, so
will be host.
Maybe we'll do like a live stream day or something where we watch some Olympics all day together, bud.
Yes.
Do some Gold Zone.
That's gonna be awesome. Maybe call it like Goldschlager in the Gold Zone.
Yeah. Maybe not though. Maybe we don't do that.
I mean, it's got to be alliterative. We got to find an alcohol that starts with G.
Good beer. Good beer and Gold Zone.
All right, the finals is set for the 2024 NCAA baseball bracket.
Really, you really set yourself up for this one, man. You made it your snaps your stick. All the while knowing that Tennessee was in the tournament, and this was inevitably going to happen. If you talked about how much you hated it, then the worst thing that could possibly happen to you was going to happen.
I'm going to say it now. You know what? Then I'm going to put it out in the universe. I love this, and I know for a fact Tennessee is going to win it all, and I'm going to be ecstatic.
The universe understands. Oof. The universe understands what you're trying to do, buddy, and it doesn't appreciate being talked down to, being mocked.
I'm gonna have to put money on Tennessee.
That's that. Okay, yes. Now you're back aligning the universe again. That is the actual only way, because then it's back to balance. Because then the universe is like, do I want to give him money, or do I want him to be upset? So
with my luck, Tennessee will win by disqualification, and they'll be like, they didn't win from scoring, so we keep your money.
It was actually a bet after 9, and they went into the 10th inning, and then Tennessee won in the 10th inning, but the bet was void. So it's like betting on soccer.
Yeah, Jesus.
So yes,
so we got Tennessee and A&M. The SEC will win this.
Yes, dude, it was like all weekend, like I'm not big, like we talked about, I'm not big on the College World Series, but like you're having beers somewhere, they're going to have games on it. It freaking felt like SEC tournament, dude. I was watching like a Kentucky Texas. I was watching the Kentucky game, and then there's Florida and Tennessee, and I want to say Georgia was there. So it was just like, goodness gracious, dude. We could have saw this at the SEC tournament, guys. We could have saved so much time.
This was SEC and ACC. I'm looking at the bracket. It's North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, Florida State, Virginia, Florida State, Kentucky, NC State, Texas A&M, Florida, NC State, Florida. This is SEC and ACC.
Well, that's because who made it? Like, nobody cares about baseball, Greg.
Now, here's my biggest gripe, and I tried to explain this to my father-in-law. My biggest gripe with this is the fucking losers bracket. Like, I don't like it. Like, Florida Tennessee and was it Florida State played once, they lost. Then they get to play another opponent, then go back. I don't like that. Just have it be, if you want to have it a 3, 5, or 7 game series, I don't care. The winner, you win the series. If you lose the series, you go home. Yeah, I don't like double elimination bullshit.
I can understand that. That's a whole lot for you to be trying to think about, Bob. Well, if this happens, this happens.
Because everyone's like,
this happens.
Like, even if you're talking to people who love this, like they don't know. I'm like, so who are they playing? They're like, ooh, we don't know yet.
It's like, they won, and
8 teams. It's like,
all right, well, they won this game, but now they get the right to not win next game by 13. But if they slide in the second with 7 runs on the board, then everybody knows that it's a floopsy daisy, and they go into the bracket 1, and it's like, okay. Or they could have just played 3-game best of 3. Could have done that, and then saw who moved on. But okay, sounds good.
And another thing I don't like about it, and I know this is kind of quickly turning into Slit Snaps My Stick, whose dick did the mayor of Omaha have to suck to have the series there? Why is it in Nebraska? Nothing should be in Nebraska. Nebraska shouldn't be in Nebraska.
I think they started it, dude. They're like, look, nobody
cares.
College World Series. I think they're the only one that has the facilities and stuff for it. So, and it's also very centrally located. Well, normally,
you know where else is a big baseball place that would love this? But in Atlanta, bro. Atlanta would be great for this.
No, too busy for Atlanta. Nobody goes to this, bro. Nobody goes to this. You want to.
It doesn't matter how busy it is.
You want to clog up your city. You want to clog up a new city with something that nobody wants to be a part of. Like, dude, at least the Super Bowl in your city. It's like, okay, city's busy. But like they're buying more than Jell-O shots, dude. So Tennessee is still currently winning the Jell-O shot war. No, I'm with you, but it's always been there. So I'm good with tradition. Let them keep having it. That is all they have, dude. That's all they have. You're trying to take the one thing that Nebraska has.
Let them have the Little League.
I think they do have that too. We give them the weird baseball thing.
They shouldn't get both.
They don't have anything else though. They don't have anything else. Are you going to go to it if it's anywhere?
In Omaha.
Are you going to go to it if it's anywhere? If it's in Nashville, Tennessee, are you going?
Depending on who's in it.
No, you're not.
If Vanderbilt was in it, I might go to it if it's in Nashville.
No, forget the Vandy Boys, dude. They call themselves the Vandy Boys, and that's the lamest thing I've ever heard. That is rough.
It is embarrassing.
Oh,
it's embarrassing.
They're like Vandy Boys.
It's more embarrassing than volunteer.
Right, like you guys are grown adults than they're children. You know, they're like 18, dude. And you're calling them the Vandy Boys? Like, come on. It's weird. It's weird. So I would go to actively root against them. But no, ultimately what I'm saying, anywhere outside of Nashville, you're not going anyway. So why not just let Nebraska have this one?
You know what? You know where it should be? Manchester, because it happens at the same time as Bonnaroo. Combine Bonnaroo and this, and now I'm down.
No, but it's just got to be played. You got to play through. Like nobody's told about the series. The fields are just like in specific areas, and so like people are just walking through, and it's a more of a. Hey,
what stage you going to? Oh, the one with the baseball game.
I'm going to stand on the pitcher's mound, dude. I'm going to try to annoy this guy, see if he wants to smoke some of these drugs with me.
You're bringing like people from opposite sides of life together.
This is how you do it. This will not go bad at all.
All right, let's move on to main topic. Stanley Cup final update. We've talked a lot about it, but now we're gonna get into the nitty-gritties of it. Let me pull up my so Florida leads 3-2 in a what I thought was never gonna get here. After shutting them out in game 1, really putting it on them on game 2, and then a closer game 3, I thought it was the writing was on the board. In game 4, Oilers came out and I was watching a good bit of that game, and I think I dozed off when it was like 2-1, and then when I woke up, I saw 8-1. I was like, "Oh shit, that's insane." And then the other night's game 5-3, Connor McDavid had 2 4-point games, just absolutely insane, and I really hope we get to have this game 7. Which will take place on, if we get it, on the 24th, which is Monday.
Yeah, that is obviously the goal. We definitely want to at very least get a game 6. I'm sorry, yeah, very least get.
Well, we definitely have a game 6.
Game 6 win. Yeah, get this game 6 won by the Oilers, so we can get that game 7. That is obviously the goal. Best 2 words in sports. Game 7. Connor McDavid doing an absolutely phenomenal job. We kind of talked about it already, as you said, becoming only the 3rd ever player to score 40 points in a playoff series, in a single playoffs. Technically, it's been done 5 times, but as you can generally imagine, as you're going through things, Wayne Gretzky did it 3 times. So that means only 3 players have done it: McDavid, Lemieux, and Gretzky. 84-85, Gretzky had 47 points with a plus 27, a plus minus of 27 in 18 games played. So 47 points. He was a monster. Lemieux 90-91, 44 points, 23 games played. Gretzky did it again in 87-88. He had 19 games played with 43 points, and now McDavid is now 4th on that list. 23 games played and has 42 points. I think a big glaring difference would be the McDavid's plus minus is at 11. Gretzky scored in a little higher pace time frame in the NHL, a lot easier to score goals. But it just to show you how amazing Gretzky was. 18 games and 47 points. So McDavid still has that shot to surpass him. If they get 2 games, he definitely could. I mean, he can obviously score 5 points in one 50. Game and tie it up. So if he has 2 more 4-point games, yeah, he hits 50 in 25 played, and that is a mega feat in today's NHL. The closest person on the list to him, as far as like recency, even in the 2000s, was Malkin in 08-09. I don't like to remember that season with 36. And we have to go all the way back to 19 and 20 for Kucherov, number 17 on the list with 34. Braden Point, 19, 20, and 20 had 33. And then McDavid himself, 21, 22 had 33 points as well. And we got a few more right after that. Played. But pretty ridiculous scoring numbers. We kind of really hit on that, and that being the kind of crux of, hey, he wins the Conn Smythe if they win, obviously, but does he win it if they lose? I think that we've covered that pretty good. Do you think they make it to Game 7?
Here's what I tell you:
think that Florida closes it out.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't see how because here's the thing: it's if they'd gotten blown out 2 games in a row, then I'm like, okay,
yeah.
But like Florida, let's see, Florida's at home. I think they either close it out in Game 6 or they lose the whole thing. I don't think they win a Game 7.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
And I think they need to know that their backs are against the wall, and this is it.
Yeah, and I think that was a heartbreaking loss, right there at the end, how it happened, how they were kind of pushing. I know they were down 1 and looking to tie, so it's not like, that was a game winner or anything. But they were making really good pushes towards the end of that game 5. And so I can totally see them coming back with a vengeance, playing at home on Thursday. I'm sorry, Friday. Is that correct?
Yes,
Friday.
21st.
Yes.
Tomorrow, from day of recording.
Yes, Friday. I'm kind of discombobulated. Juneteenth kind of threw me off of being weirdly off in the middle of the week. So I, for one, hope if they make it to Game 7, I think that we need to try to record on Monday so we can have one final recording. So then we get to follow up again with a final of it. If they make it,
I think the wife.
I mean,
and
we
I
don't
staying
have
at my mom's. That
we don't have
night,
to
so
schedule
maybe
it right
we'll
now, Bob. We don't have to have the discussion right now, man. I'm just throwing stuff off on the air. We're recording right now, buddy. He's like, let me check my calendar and let me get with my people. I'm just throwing something out there.
Yeah. Yeah. But all right, let's move into joke of the week.
The weird. Corey Perry. Yeah, I don't like that. Wild.
I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it.
Outlandish.
Each 6th chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the joke of the week.
All right, you found this one. What are we talking about?
Jason Tatum clowned after trying to copy Kanye West, Kobe Bryant, and Kevin Garnett. In addition, I don't think they tossed this in here. Steph Curry / Angel Reese. Basically, before I get into the article, Bob, I want to tell you how I think about the situation. You remember when Joe Buck called the World Series win for the Cubs? And like everything that happened, he tried to make it this thing. And and it grounded to first base, and it was just like it had to be a thing. Like, oh, this is a soundbite. Like they're gonna take this. We're gonna listen to this forever. Whereas we all know, Bobby, that real soundbites come out of true randomness and not a forced action. They'll chase him forever from the kick 6, right? You can hear that guy. You can hear his voice screaming, then Chris Davis, and they'll chase him forever. Because he wasn't like trying to say that because he's like, the people are going to hear about it. Yeah. So Jason Tatum
and there's
essentially does
left by Castellanos.
Exactly. The great sound bites in history that will always be there will just be there because they're a great sound bite. Jason Tatum essentially tries to do the Kevin Garnett thing, where he says, like, we did it. What did Kevin Garnett say? I forget. Let's see. Leave it. Sorry. I totally spaced on what. Let me see. They just showed the Tatum portion. Why didn't they show the anyway, he says something and he screams it real loud. Well, Jason Tatum, the exact same thing, says, we did it. We did it. And so if that was the only thing, that's one thing. He recreated the Kobe trophy. It's like, dude, you are now an NBA champion. Why aren't you making an iconic photo of your own? like you're the one that won the championship. Kobe, I don't know. So, and then he did at the after party thing, everyone was wondering what would happen if we didn't win. I guess we'll never know. So he did the Kanye. So he did the Kanye and just it was just a bunch of corny, just in the moment, like you can see how hard he's trying to do that. Like, just be you. So it was just kind of a joke, man. You're great. Somebody, one of the comments is like, bro thinks he's in a Disney show. And that's like essentially what what it felt like when he was saying stuff like, I don't know. He was absolutely great all season, had a great playoffs. You didn't have to do all this, man. You didn't have to do all this. I don't know. It was just kind of strange. A lot of the stuff that he kind of copied, like, man, just make up your own celebrations and whatnot.
And here's the thing. Part of me thinks that now he has a decision to make. He should be embarrassed at this point and end it. Or
you can lean into it.
Double down. You got to lean into it. And if you lean into it and make this your new thing where you're constantly just doing other people's stuff, being corny, then it becomes so corny that it's funny.
Mr.
And
Unlimited.
then it's like, all right, what's his next thing?
Mr. Unlimited.
Like, then it becomes great. Like, and if he starts incorporating that into his day-to-day stuff, and when he's a player, like next year, like I said before we recorded, if he starts doing LeBron's powder thing, like just like
as you can tell,
then it will be very funny.
As you can tell, there really wasn't a lot. This is definitely one of our weaker what a jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no real like, oh, this is fun to like poke fun at and stuff, but like it's really not that big of a deal. So it's a very low key what a joke. But like also, come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Still, what a joke.
Yeah. All right, let's move into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
So I talked about it a little bit at the top, but every once in a while we have these days where, on principle, we can't have something that snaps our stick because it's just too good of a day to ruin it by talking about it. And honestly, I'm going to just agree with yours, but it's the start of dead period. That means I get to have 2 weeks to really just chill out, and I'm excited. It's going to be a great time. We've got the beer festival this weekend. Yep. We've got 4th of July coming up soon.
Yep.
It's going to be a
999 challenge, baby.
Let's go. I'm excited. 999 challenge. So absolutely nothing is snapping my stick, as much as you might have thought something was snapping my stick when we were talking about NCAA baseball. In fact, nothing is snapping my stick. What do you got?
I got what a lot of folks probably have, just this heat wave. You know, it's not even temperature-wise the worst that it's
the humidity.
Dude, it's just so thick out there, man. It's just it's just draining to be outside for any amount or period of time. And so that will definitely be mine. Again, it is hard with all of these fun things coming up to be upset. I've got my pre-order in for NCAA. I'm getting them 3 days of early access. I don't care. I know they tell you don't pre-order.
I didn't know the pre-order came with 3 days of early access. I might
3 days of early access on the deluxe, my friend. And hey, they're going to try to trick you, Bobby. This is also what's snapping my stick. They're trying to trick you by bundling in Madden with it for some. Like, oh, you can get Madden. No. You can get Madden and this. No, I'm not getting Madden if I have NCAA. Why would I need that? And besides, I got the most recent Madden. I don't need to keep getting Maddens. So if you like Madden, it's great.
I have Madden 19, which is the same thing.
Exactly. Close us out of here, bud. Yeah. I think I'm 100%. Good. I don't have too much of a complaint today.
I thought, All right. So it's been great talking with y'all. For Brandon, I'm Bobby. This has been the Pucks Out Podcast. We'll see you all again next time.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.